Could I have a mover, please? Move Councillor Broddy, seconded Councillor Park. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Item number 2. Enterprise Great Lake Taupo. Afternoon, gentlemen. Greg Steving and Jeff Thorpe, who's of course the council representative on there, and also just acknowledge the board members, Penny Lyons in the back there. Nice to see you, Penny, and of course General Manager Fritz. Nice to see you. Thank you. The floor is yours, Greg.
Kia ora, Mr. Mayor and councillors and management. It's nice to be here today. As you can see, we've changed it up a bit this time. We've left Fritz at the back, but I'm sure we'll hear from him sometime during the presentation. It'll be a quick meeting. It's called Human Nature, I think. Jeff will be doing most of the presentation today, but I just thought I'd better just advise you, really, because the time is good, that Sue DeBera resigned as the chair this week, and as planned sometime last year, I will be taking over the chair's role. It was planned, so no surprises. I think Sue just decided it was time for a bit of a change. It's not clear to me right now whether she's standing down altogether, so we'll try and find that out next time we meet with her.
Okay, congratulations on...
Yeah, thank you for that. Sometimes you've got to be careful what you ask for, don't you? But just need to acknowledge Sue, I guess. I mean, to me, she's done a fantastic job. I met with her when I was asked to have a think about joining the board, and she impressed me from day one. Certainly had a real passion for the whole economic development. She did a great job of pulling the team together that we've got now, and obviously the management team as well. So, and she'll be missed. I'm hoping that she is still going to sit around the table, but I can't say that for sure right now. I think as the chair, my main responsibility really is to ensure that the ratepayers get best bang for bucks, to use the term. And I just need to do that through making sure our trustees and our management keep focused on what's important, what's deliverable, and ideally what's measurable. And that's a tough one. That came up the last time we sat here, is to how do we show you what we're achieving, and what's our contribution been to bringing a business here. But that isn't always as easy as it sounds. My commitment really is to bring in jobs to Taupo. You can call it economic development. To me, the real economic development I'm interested in is only if it brings jobs, and reasonably good paying jobs as well. So we remain focused. Just quickly, I don't want to go through all the trustees, but just to show you that this is a pretty fantastic bunch of people assembled. A hell of a range of skills, from a bit of forestry experience, entrepreneurship. There's geothermal. So we've got most of the things we believe are important assets to Taupo covered. We have some pretty healthy discussions at our meetings, a bit of fun as well, but I think we're getting some good outcomes. And just to reconfirm we've done a lot of thinking about what is the competitive advantage to Taupo, and what do we have that, what do we have that other regions don't have, and we sort of still focused on these three main core areas. Wood processing, I mean, we're surrounded by wood. We had a lot more mills here years ago. We're down to one big sawmill, Tenon, and I just keep fingers crossed that it's going to survive, because its whole focus is really the main focus, the US market. So with this sort of exchange rate, it must be a bit tough for them. We've got plenty of geothermal, and there's a lot of industries that can feed off geothermal, and tourism. Although in this sense here, we're talking about trying to bring businesses to Taupo, not visitors. I guess that's the job of the previous group. So they remain our focus. We've got a strong initiative in each one of those areas on the table at the moment. As Fritz said once before, we can't really divulge who it is. These people are quite keen to keep their names quiet for a while. We can't say whether any of these are going to really come off to anything material, but they do look reasonably positive. The wood processing one is not the one that was talked about a year ago. It's another group. So we just keep working away and try to make their decisions easier, make sure there's no barriers for them, that sort of thing. And there's 2 or 3 of us in the forestry game, so we can help in that area. And with Andy Blair, of course, we've got geothermal covered pretty well. So I'll just hand you over to Jeff now, as your representative.
Thank you, Greg, and Council. Thanks for the opportunity as your representative, and
thanks Stu for reappointing me the other day. I'm enjoying being on this board, and so it's a good opportunity to report back on the 6 months and a few of the. I want to concentrate on a few of the initiatives that we're involved in, from a board perspective, anyway. And the first is the Young Enterprise Scheme, which is administered by EGLT for the Taupo District, and essentially it's a way for to get youth familiar with business, to become business literate. The emphasis here is on schools, and in particular at the moment, Taupo Nui Atia has got a business course in the year 12 and 13 years, and those who get involved in this scheme can earn NCEA credits by doing so. You probably know about it. It's run as a sort of a competition. They come up with the business plans and all the costings and go into a Dragon's Den type competition for the region. We have some of our mentors, which I'll talk about in a minute, who judged the regional finals. We had a team last year that went to the national finals. So I know when I'm just a couple of years out of school, but there was certainly no business education when I was there. So it's good to see that these skills are starting to be taught at least, and hopefully more schools will take it up, and we'll support them in that if they do. The Taupo Pathways one, supported by the Mayor, is this is the initiative that was started by the then Ultrahonga Mayor Dale Williams a few years ago, which is a way to try and get the youth who are looking for work to get connected with the employers of the region. We've got a couple of people here, Roseanne and Anna, directly involved, so they'll know more about the nuts and bolts than I do. But the immediate target here is the approximately 100 kids who will leave school this year in this district who will be looking for work, as opposed to those who are going on to further education and the like. Interestingly, a lot of those kids will traditionally leave the region and find work elsewhere, and ironically we're finding some companies here are finding it difficult to find workers, and they're going out of the region to find people to bring back here. So if we can find a way of providing them meaningful work here, that'd be fantastic. So the first step has been to do a stock take of what the skills needs are of the various businesses that might be interested in employing people, understanding what they are. That survey has almost been completed. The next stage is to make sure that the youth understand what skills are required. Do they already have them, and if not, what they need to do to get them, and then to match them up with each other, so hopefully they can find meaningful employment here. As you can see, there's a couple of functions coming up. Employers function in May, the Careers Expo later in July, and just again like to thank the council for their role there in assisting us, particularly with the venue. It's at the Great Lakes Centre. In July, as it says. The business mentors, you can read there how that's going. There's been 88 businesses that have been mentored so far through this scheme. At the moment, the 48 businesses on the go, we have 26 mentors. Great to see that we've got 26, but we are a bit concerned that that's not really sustainable. With 26 into 48 means there's quite a few mentors who are assisting 2 or more businesses, and that's, worried about a bit of burnout there, and this is possibly a place where we all, including yourselves, might be able to assist. If you know of individuals who you think would be good mentors and prepared to do so, then we'd love to hear. Anne Bittersby here in particular, who runs this, would like to hear. It is a bit of a commitment. These people volunteer their time for free. They have to go through an induction course, a one-day course to start with. It has a bit of structure to it. They're meeting with these companies for usually once a month, over a 2-year period. It starts off at a couple of times a month, then goes to once. So quite a commitment, but we do have a very good, in the main, good calibre of mentor here, with international experience and national experience, etc. And the feedback we're getting is really positive from this, to the extent now that some of the banks are now referring clients to the mentor scheme because they obviously see the value in it. They want their clients to be successful. This is both new businesses and existing ones, and we are aware of several instances where companies have grown their business, grown their employment levels as a direct result of the mentor input that they've received. So this is a great initiative. The great opportunities of the Go magazine, I'm sure you know all about that. I won't go into any detail, but from the board's perspective, we're very happy with how this has turned out, both with the how it looks, the content, how it's being distributed, and I think it shows off our district and what we've got to offer in a very positive light. So, as a business attraction magazine, we think it's working well. Very big job to put this together, obviously, and we're planning on doing this every couple of years. So the next one we plan to do in 2015. And finally, just the interaction between ourselves and yourself, and what can you do? We obviously see you as ambassadors for this region in all aspects of your work as councillors, and from EGLT's perspective, we're talking particularly about business. So, you know, if in the various forums that you find yourselves in, to be aware of what our region offers, our region can offer, and to talk about that is a positive thing. And those of you I do know a little bit, I know you already do this, both informally and formally through the channels with regional and national government. On a more formal basis, you have a role in administrating how business happens here. So to make it easy to do business here, both for existing businesses, which is an equally important part of EGLT's work, and to attract new businesses, to make this region or this district known as an easy place to do business is a positive step for us, which will hopefully might make the difference between a business starting or not in here. So that ends my talk.
Thanks, Jeff.
Sure.
Thanks, Greg. Any queries, questions?
Could I just raise something very quickly? I have a bit of a dilemma now, being a councillor. Recently, the Local Government Act changed, and Section 10 particularly relates to core services. Now, why I certainly are for promotion of business in Taupo, I look at your group, Enterprise Great Lake Taupo, and sometimes wonder whether some of the things you're branching out into, say, could be better handled by, say, the Chamber of Commerce. Now, I'm not being negative, I'm just throwing that into the ring, because we're now charged with certain things that we couldn't do in the past, and so I'm very keen to have that debate. For instance, the monitoring one, the mentoring one, if you ring, I think it's 0800 209 209, you can get someone to mentor you. So I'm just wondering, is that also a course part of Enterprise? So I'll just throw that out as a question.
Yes, well, I'll have to think about that. I can't give you a direct answer, except that I'd suggest that it is working well under EGLT. The mentors themselves are the ones who are spending the bulk of the time on it. Our staff are doing time matching them up, but I don't think it's eating up that much of our time overall. But it's a reasonable question for all that.
I guess the changes to the Act also talk about the effective and efficient long-term benefits, I guess, to the community. So in that regard, I would argue that we've picked this off, that it's working well, it's funded at $150 that the business pays. And where we put it, it's not a hell of a lot of our time. I mean, we picked some of these things from our presentations that we wanted to present. It affects the whole community from Mangakino to Turangi. And we believe it's working with us at the moment.
Okay. Thanks, Fritz. Any other questions or queries? Okay. And just acknowledge Anne down there too, the work you do. Anne's much appreciated, and that certainly excited about that job expo coming up, which is great for our school leavers, and the school's been involved with that is certainly well worth it, the exercise. So thank you for organising that. And thank you to the councillors involved.
I'd like to add to that part there is, I guess one of the dilemmas that we always face is that we represent the business community of this community. So while we are very aware that we are picking up ratepayer money, we're very conscious how we use that. I guess our funding to put in the state is that we always have the dilemma. We aimed at addressing it with the Gold magazine that really a larger proportion of our community possibly has no advantage from what we do, I guess. But the business community equally pays rates. I'm also a ratepayer. I have a rental portfolio for myself, I guess, rich landlord and such. I certainly want this town to attract industry that will make this a vibrant community and hopefully over time, because I intend to live here. Nothing against the town. But I guess if we want to go and make changes in this community and get meaningful employment that pays more than $14.25 an hour, then someone at work, I guess, needs to be done. Who's going to do it? We'll call it in the end.
Councillor Harvey.
Yes, I'd just like to ask, and I presume that this is what is being done, but do you have room in your budget? Do you have time to visit all the head offices of all the major corporations and actually go and make personal visits on a regular basis and, you know, offer our town as, you know, a prospect for, you know, mini head office facilities, that sort of thing? You know, have we done that? Have we been to Wellington, Auckland, Christchurch, blah, 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 everywhere possible? I'm sure you have, but, you know, this is just clarification.
Short answer, no, we're stretched. But we believe that what we have is enough. But we have not been as proactive as we would have liked to. We've acknowledged that in our last strategy session, where, like we said, I think about 50% of my time and resources spent on doing that. A lot of the time is spent on the smaller business community, because that is 95% of the business in this district. So we've acknowledged and are changing, freeing up a bit of time to allow more of that travel. We've just started an initiative down in Turangi to list all the availability of rental availabilities in the mall down there, and then shop that to people that might want to come down there. We do rely a lot on partnerships, like, for example, happy to acknowledge that meeting with the Glyn Poynton and Zane, we try and aim at those landlords who have those buildings. They have an interest in filling those buildings to assist them. We just don't have any budget to go and I spend all my time on what I'd like to, but that is just not what we can. So we have to make do with what we have, and the best we can do with what we have is to form partnerships and assist those landlords to fill those buildings as much as we can. But on some of the projects that Greg alluded to earlier, like especially in the wood processing and geothermal space, we do travel a lot to Auckland and especially Wellington, talking to the likes of MRP, Contact, but even people like the Lighting Plus store, believe it or not, that we have on us.
I'm sure you never miss an opportunity, Fritz.
We certainly will not miss an opportunity.
And I guess it's our role as councillors,
because I mean,
as you've asked us to help you. So this is where we can help, because we are around the country.
Those of us that, you know, are, you know, out and about and involved in business, we'd be more than happy to go and see the right people if it helps. You know, if there's an opportunity anywhere, I mean, we'd be happy to go and see people.
It makes sense for us to partner with people that have an interest in it, you know, and that's a fine line to walk but that's how you get done in a small town, because all of you have connections that we don't have, and we're really asking you, that's what Jeff was saying earlier, please help us. You know people that we don't like. For example, Rupert is happy to name his name. The ex-commissioner to India has a holiday home just over in Acacia Bay, Rupert Holborough. He now works for AMFAT. You know, we can just pick up the phone and talk to Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and they'll help us because he lives here. And that's the sort of connections we want to make use of. Whether it should be with a chamber or someone, that's your call to make. We believe we're getting a pretty good bang for your buck. And we're very mindful of that.
Yes, Councillor Cousins.
I just speak to you, Councillor Harvey. I've spoken to Fritz and I about this before, because before I got on council, I was doing that. I was going to international friends, not knowing what I was doing, and that's why I wanted to go on council. One of the things I wanted on council was to use this as a platform, so just throw it at Fritz. Yeah, you two contact and just throw it to Fritz and let him do that.
Yeah,
so that would be my advice.
Which I have done a couple of times.
Cool. And so has.
Sorry, probably too many times. Sorry.
It doesn't matter if it's Sunday or Saturday. I saw I had an email in my intro on Sunday night. Alexander, and I'll answer them.
We have to have an offering though, right? We have to do this if you want to waltz up we're in Auckland. Say, come to us, come here. You know, you got to have an offering. What's our advantage here? It isn't cheap rates, for example. It's not cheap property. It's beauty, and everyone knows that. If we wanted to do that sort of marketing, I mean, Go magazine's targeting, trying to get people to understand what Taupo's about. But we do need to get our story right as to why we want somebody to relocate a business here, unless it's tied up with some sort of natural demand. It just might be.
We do that when with some of the initiatives that we were referring to before. When we've got something specific, we will target half a dozen or a dozen potential parties that could be interested because we know they're in that game. It's a bit different from purely cold calling. It's targeting. We do that, but not with everybody else.
Councillor Stewart.
I'd just like to say thank you to DG. Sorry. No, for that you're not you're district focused, and Turangi and Mangakino are really included in all you do, and I think that really shows how open you are to the whole area. And thank you very much.
Yeah, just endorse that on behalf of the council. Thank you. I realise, Greg and Jeff and Penny, your time as volunteer, you're volunteers, and to have a great diverse group like you've got, the town owes you guys a real, a real big thumbs up, because to commit your time, because you're all busy people, commit your time to this board is much appreciated, and also the Fritz and Anne for the work you do. So, thank you. Okay, we've got a suggested resolution there. Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Hickling, seconded by Councillor Stewart. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Okay, item number 3.